whispers Ilse.
This American Life. I'm Ira Glass. Each week on our program, of course, we choose a theme, bring you different kinds of stories on that theme. Today's program, tribes, stories of people who believe they are part of these big groups that may or may not necessarily want them. We've arrived at Act 2 of our program, Act 2, a tribe called Rest. You know, sometimes it can be easy to believe that you are in a tribe of one, alone, there, by yourself. Andrea Siegel tells this story about finding out that she is undeniably not alone.
In the 4th grade, I had this one friend, Mindy. She was okay to hang out with and all, but what was really great about her was that she would always want to see whatever stuff I had in my room. If I sat her down in front of my shell collection, she would delicately go through it one shell at a time. She'd murmur to herself what she liked about each shell. And I'd get this tingling throughout my skull. I know how weird that sounds, but it was like starbursts in my head. Starbursts that open on the crown and then sparkle down at the nape, like this warm, glittering water rushing under your scalp. I'd seek this feeling out starting when I was 7. I'd go to the library so I could sit in a big, quiet room and listen to pages being turned. There was a boring librarian who everyone in 5th grade hated, but I loved her because when she would read us stories in her soft voice, she turned my head into a snow globe. I was an anxious kid. I worried about getting homework finished, even back when homework didn't count for anything. But while I was getting this tingling in my head, my anxiety just magically fell away. And afterward, I'd actually feel kind of good for a half hour. Then I found this public access lady on TV who used to show you how to stencil flowers on a wall. She gave me the tingling. I'd also get it watching the late great Bob Ross teach how to paint mountains on PBS.
So we have black, blue, crimson, a little bit of brown. Now then, barely touch the canvas.
So there's Bob Ross, and I'm 8 and sitting on the carpet in the den, watching him delicately mix paint colors in close-up. And I am going into a trance. My jaw kind of goes slack. My eyes are probably a little glassy. And my head is aglow.
Take a little blue and white here. Just mix it together. And once again, flat, our little tiny roll of paint.
So as I grew up, I never told my parents about this. Never talked to anybody. I assumed the tingling was an almost pervy way I was miswired. I felt ashamed about it, and all I understood was that I didn't want anyone to know. It became even more extreme as an adult. As a kid, I was only allowed to watch a certain amount of television. But once I was old enough to own my own TV, I would stay up until 4 a.m. watching Home Shopping Network night after night. Soft-spoken women talked about the jewelry in very detailed, intricate, precious ways, and I loved it. People were confused about why I watched so much home shopping, because I never bought anything. But the starbursts worked as well as an adult as they had as a kid. They calmed my anxiety. And calming is important because I'm still an anxious person. In fact, I'm way worse as an adult. There's a lot more to be anxious about. And I still never told anyone about what was going on inside my head, not even my boyfriend, Brent. We've been together for years. We have a kid together. We tell each other everything. I've told him some really horrible, embarrassing things about myself, but I didn't tell him this. Like I would never turn to him during dinner and ask, so when the fork just delicately pinged against the knife, did you get tingles throughout your brain too? A few years ago, I started seeking out this stuff on YouTube. I began with makeup tutorials because I love to hear the tapping of a brush on a MAC pigment bottle or the clicking up of an eyeliner pencil. That's how I moved on to this woman named Sonata, who does something called haul videos. That's Haul, which are just her talking about what she bought on a shopping trip. These kind of videos are actually really popular. There are tons of them.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to show you what I got from the Versace for H&M. So as you can see, I have my...
So I was up to watching 2 or 3 hours a day. And I know this is all starting to sound like porn and someone's obsession with porn, but it's not porn. Even if it does operate a little bit like porn. All the searching for videos, trying to find exactly the right moment or performer, developing very specific tastes and preferences. I wanted someone speaking in lightly accented English, and I wanted them talking to me about jewelry, slowly and deliberately. And preferably, it's tacky or cheap jewelry that isn't being treated as if it's tacky and cheap. And just like porn, the effect wears off after a while. You have to find new videos. Finally, one night over the recent holidays, I was suddenly out of videos. I'd exhausted all my usual haul favorites. Despairing, I typed jewelry collection into the search box. Nothing I hadn't seen already. That was when I had an idea. I noticed a number of the haulers on YouTube who had accented English had trouble with the spelling of jewelry. I typed in jewelry again, this time with 2 L's. YouTube returned a video at the top of the search entitled ASMR, Old Jewelry Collection, Show and Tell Whisper. It was made by a YouTuber called
The Water Whispers Ilse.
That was The Water Whispers Ilse. On the screen, a woman smiled and waved, and then she began.
Hey guys, today I'm at my grandpa's house, and I'm going to share something personal with you guys. It's kind of a show and tell video, because I'm going to show you the jewelry. I always struggle with that word.
I was like, what the hell is this? I kept watching.
I'm going to show you the jewelry of my grandma. She passed away in 2008, and she was actually together with Bob Ross, one of the first people who gave me ASMR when I was a kid.
I was stunned. I mean, I was loving this video, but also 1, I was shocked by the Bob Ross mention, and 2, I was worried that something was wrong with this Ilse, because I thought ASMR sounded like a medical condition. I instantly assumed the M stood for mute, and that Ilse was some kind of partial mute who could only whisper. So I googled ASMR, which led me to knowyourmeme.com, and an entry for ASMR that reads, Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response is a term used to describe a sensory experience characterized by a tingling sensation in the head and scalp, which can be triggered by sounds like whispering or brushing, and visual stimulus like painting or drawing. It continued, on YouTube, the phenomenon inspired the creation of whisperer videos, in which people attempt to trigger the viewer's ASMR by speaking in a soft voice, and making various sounds with inanimate objects. At this point, I started saying, oh my God, and Brent on the other couch grew worried and asked, what? I clicked on a second link, which took me to an article titled, ASMR, the good feeling no one can explain. The author writes, from what I understand from conversations with ASMRs, it's a tingle in your brain, a kind of pleasurable headache that can creep down your spine. I became about as excited as I've ever been, even flapping my hands. I clicked on the Water Whisper Ilse's website. At the top it said, for me, ASMR is not just a feeling, it's a lifestyle. And that sounds so incredibly lame, but what's hilarious is that it actually is a lifestyle. It totally is. It's my lifestyle. I had no idea that I was into ASMR, but for the past decade, I've been dedicating like an hour of my day to this. And I wasn't alone. That was incredible, learning that I wasn't alone. In an instant, I went from believing I was miswired to suddenly feeling like I was part of a special group of people with amazing sensitivities. Not that science has confirmed that anything special is really going on. I haven't been able to find any published studies. There is a professor at Dartmouth who's overseeing a couple students, and they're going to put people with ASMR into an MRI tube and watch what happens in their brains while they're having head tingles. They hope to have results in the next month. That night I discovered ASMR. With my official sounding acronym in hand, I came out and explained my head tingles to Brent. His eyes went wide, and when I played him the first few seconds of Ilse's jewelry video, he started laughing and said, "You're loving that?" Brent finds the whole thing hilarious. He had always just thought I was strange for watching hours of such boring stuff, but here I had an actual thing. But the best part of knowing it's called ASMR, I found tons more videos. There are ASMR stars like Maria, aka Gentle Whispering, with 77,000 subscribers, who does the most compelling napkin folding video I've ever seen. Then there's up-and-comers like Equine Cutie, with close to 7,000 subscribers. She rehabilitates horses, and her whisper voice sounds like she's always got a hard candy in her mouth. Except she doesn't.
The clicky noises that you hear, honestly, that's just what happens when I whisper. sorry if you don't really like it. I can't really do anything about it.
Viewers make online requests to their favorite video-making whisperers to do the things that trigger their head tingles. Everyone's needs are different. It's like an interactive choose-your-own-adventure. But the whole story is about marbles clinking. The Water Whisperer's Ilse keeps a running public list of her fans' requests. Some of the pending ones include water bottle not filled completely with beads in it and move it around. Pick something up with tweezers and tell facts about it. Could you do an unboxing video of a box of bonbons and cut the bonbons in half to see what flavor they are? Roleplay, sending a viewer on a mission as a spy. Roleplay, be a doctor and diagnose a cold. Almost every ASMR YouTuber makes roleplay videos in which they conduct fake customer service or spa or dermatology sessions. These videos are about someone being almost comically gentle with you.
Hi there, welcome to our spa. My name is Amal, and I'm going to be taking care of you today, okay?
I know, these videos sound sexy. They are arguably sexy. Whispering sounds like pillow talk. The roleplays feel pretty intimate. And often the whisperers will just film their torso because they're showing you the toiletry basket they prepared for guests, or doing origami. And framing hands and arms also means a lot of close-ups of chests. You see the problem. Under the videos, which are overwhelmingly done by women, the comments that go on for days are a mixed bag of blissed-out ASMR supporters and guys who see this as softcore porn. The smutty responses are very frustrating to the whisperers. And take my word for it, there's nothing sexual about the feeling itself, because it's actually the opposite of arousal. The starbursts produce a thorough calm that is almost stoner-like. It seems worth mentioning, given where I'm speaking to you from right now, that public radio is also a trigger for lots of people. Recently, someone posted to a discussion group on Reddit, quote, I almost crashed my car when I accidentally fell into an ASMR trance during an interview on All Things Considered the other day. I had to change the channel. Radiolab will often trigger for me too. I actually get tingles from the opening theme. Someone replied, quote, oh man, I get overly excited when Garrison Keillor comes in. Prairie Home Companion is one of my favorite ASMR experiences. All this whisperer obsession has led to a lot of discussion in my home about whether I have a problem. Do you overall feel that I'm watching too many videos?
Yeah, I mean, I think you should mix it up with like another hobby that you enjoy. There have been days where it's like I've caught you watching hours of whispering about like people doing role plays of their childhood and stuff, and I think like I don't think I'd want to like be in a position where I felt like I needed to watch these for like hours.
Yeah, but I mean, you spend a ton of time on the internet, just more time surfing the internet than I do watching videos. So does that concern you about yourself?
Yes, it does. I don't know why we're making this about me all of a sudden.
He thinks his rigorous internet reading is more worthwhile than my ASMR because he's gathering information that makes him a more interesting person to talk to, like at a party. But he says my watching is just zombie-ish.
So it does annoy me that like hours and hours a day watching these videos, it seems like we could take some of that time and use it doing my stuff, you know?
But in my defense, we do his stuff. The other night I agreed to watch The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2, Brent's choice, and I used it as an opportunity to try to educate Brent about the power of ASMR. I pointed out to him when Bella becomes a vampire, she suddenly notices every minuscule thing around her, every tiny sound. I said, that's the state. Superhuman laser. Better than a normal person.
I'm never gonna get enough of this. We don't get tired. We don't have to rest or catch our breath or eat.
Brent doesn't buy this. He doesn't understand.
Andrea Siegel. She's a novelist with several books, including Like the Red Panda.